My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the hardest truths in life is realizing that most people don't really care about your struggles, your pain, or your sacrifices. You can spend your whole life trying to please them and still feel empty. But when you stop expecting from people and start trusting Allah, you discover a strength that no one can take away. Because the only one who truly cares for you every moment, in every hardship, is Allah. Why? Depending on people leads to disappointment. When we place our hope in people, we are setting ourselves up for heartbreak. Human beings are weak by nature, limited in what they can give, and often occupied with their own worries. You may think someone will always be there for you, but sooner or later they will fall short. Not because they are evil, but because they are human. Only Allah is Al-Qayyum, the one who never fails, never forgets, and never abandons. The Quran reminds us, if Allah helps you, none can overcome you, and if He forsakes you, who is there that can help you after Him? 3:160. Depending on people is fragile because their support is temporary, but depending on Allah is unshakable because His support is eternal. The believer learns that disappointment from people is a lesson to return to Allah. When you expect too much from others, you hand them the keys to your peace. If they give, you feel happy. If they take away, you feel broken. But when your expectations are tied only to Allah, no one has the power to control your heart. This realization liberates the soul from endless cycles of hurt. The Prophet himself faced abandonment. At Taif, when he sought support, the people mocked him, rejected him, and turned their children against him. Yet he turned to Allah in dua. If you are not angry with me, then I do not care. This is the lesson. People will disappoint, but Allah never does. Depending on people often leads to ingratitude. You may do countless favors, but when one mistake is made, people forget everything good you ever did. This reality can crush you unless you remember that your reward is with Allah, not in their praise. He records every act, even when people erase it from memory. Our hearts long for love, recognition, and validation, but people's love is conditional. They may support you when things are easy, but leave when life gets hard. Allah's love, on the other hand, is unconditional, stronger than a mother's for her child, and it never fades. Choosing His love over people's protects you from heartbreak. The Quran says, indeed, man was created weak. 4:28. Weak people cannot carry the weight of your heart. When you lean on them too much, they collapse, and you collapse with them. But when you lean on Allah, the All-Powerful, your heart stands firm even in the storms of life. Disappointment often comes because we confuse creation with Creator. We expect perfection from people when only Allah is perfect. We expect endless patience when only Allah is As-Sabr. We expect constant care when only Allah is Ar-Rahman. Realizing this shifts your reliance away from fragile humans to the one whose attributes never fail. Depending on people creates chains around the heart. You begin to live for their approval, fear their rejection, and lose yourself trying to please them. But when you depend on Allah, you gain freedom. His approval frees you from slavery to people's opinions, and that freedom is the root of peace. Life teaches us that even those closest to us can hurt us unintentionally. A parent may disappoint, a spouse may forget, a friend may betray. But Allah's promise is clear. Do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us. 9:40. His companionship fills the void left by people's absence. Depending on people often breeds anger. You may feel resentful when others don't meet your expectations, but the truth is they were never able to in the first place. Releasing those expectations heals the heart because you stop demanding from creation what only the Creator can give. The Prophet taught us to tie the camel and trust Allah. This means doing your part with people, but never tying your heart to them. Work with them, love them, care for them, but let your ultimate reliance rest only in Allah, for He alone controls outcomes. When you depend on Allah, disappointment turns into redirection. Instead of asking, why did they leave me? You say, perhaps Allah is guiding me to better. Faith transforms pain into wisdom, showing you that every loss is part of His plan. Depending on people for happiness is dangerous. They may change their mood and your peace changes with it. But Allah never changes. His mercy, His care, His presence are constant. When you root your joy in Him, it is stable. untouched by the ups and downs of others. People are temporary companions. No matter how loyal, one day they will be absent by choice or by death. But Allah is Al-Hayy, the ever-living, who never leaves. Depending on Him ensures your heart is never orphaned, never truly alone. Disappointment is not always a curse, it is a wake-up call. Allah allows people to fail you so that you turn back to Him. He removes false supports from under you so you can realize He is the only true support that never breaks. Depending on people can also breed arrogance. You may think their support defines your worth, but when Allah takes it away, you realize your value was never in their hands. True dignity lies in being honored by Allah, not in being praised by people. The Quran says, sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of affairs. 3:173. This is the believer's shield against disappointment. Even when people fail, even when the world rejects, you remind yourself, Allah is enough. That truth alone heals the heart. Every disappointment with people pushes you closer to Allah if you let it. Instead of bitterness, you gain clarity. Instead of resentment, you gain tawakkul. The believer's journey is to learn that no one cares as deeply, as consistently, and as eternally as Allah. My brothers and sisters, people will forget, people will fail, and people will walk away, but Allah will never abandon you. Disappointment is not the end, it is the beginning of true reliance. So stop placing your heart in fragile hands and entrust it fully to Allah, the one who cares beyond measure. Quranic reminder, Allah is enough for the believer. The Quran repeatedly assures us that Allah is sufficient, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. 65:3. This ayah is a shield for the believer's heart. It means that no matter the situation, and poverty, illness, loneliness, or fear, Allah's help is enough to carry you through when no one else can. When the believers faced armies at Uhud and Khandaq, Allah reminded them, sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of affairs. 3:173. These words calmed hearts in the face of overwhelming fear. For the believer today, the same verse applies. When challenges seem too big, Allah's sufficiency is bigger. The Quran teaches that worldly supports collapse, but Allah's help never weakens. Kings lose power, friends leave, money runs out, but Allah's mercy has no limit. He is Al-Qadir, capable of doing what no one else can, and His support never depends on circumstances. Is Allah not sufficient for His servant? 39:36. This rhetorical question pierces the heart. It reminds us that even if the whole world abandons you, Allah remains with you. His presence outweighs the absence of thousands because He alone holds the power over everything. The believer finds comfort in the verse, do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us. 9:40. These were the words said by the Prophet ﷺ to Abu Bakr in the cave, surrounded by enemies. If Allah's presence protected them then, it can protect you now, no matter what storm surrounds your life. The Quran also ties sufficiency with tawakkul. Allah promises, and whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out and provide for him from where he does not expect. 65:2-3. True reliance on Allah unlocks unseen doors, proving that His care extends beyond what the eye can see. Believers are reminded that victory does not come from numbers or strength, but from Allah. At Badr, the Muslims were few and weak, yet Allah sent down angels as reinforcement. 8:9. This shows that Allah's sufficiency is not theoretical. It manifests in miraculous ways when faith is strong. The Quran warns against relying too heavily on people. If Allah helps you, none can overcome you. But if He forsakes you, who is there that can help you after Him? 3:160. This ayah clarifies that all human support is useless without Allah's permission. His help is the foundation of all success. Allah is enough for the believer because He knows what we do not. Perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. 2216. Depending on Him means trusting His wisdom over our limited vision, knowing He sees the entire picture. The Quran comforts those in hardship with the reminder, Indeed, with hardship comes ease. 94:6. Allah's sufficiency lies not in removing every difficulty instantly, but in guaranteeing that relief always follows pain. This promise alone strengthens the believer's patience. Allah is enough in matters of justice, and rely upon the ever-living who does not die, and exalt Allah with His praise. And sufficient is He to be acquainted with the sins of His servants. 25:58. When people wrong you, Allah's knowledge and justice suffice. He sees what others overlook. The Quran also reminds that Allah's sufficiency brings contentment. So remember me, I will remember you in 2:152. To be remembered by Allah is the greatest honor. When the Creator of the heavens remembers you, do you truly need the approval of people? Believers are taught that Allah is enough in fear. Those to whom hypocrites said, "Indeed, the people have gathered against you, so fear them." But it merely increased them in faith, and they said, "Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of affairs." And 3:173. Faith transforms fear into courage. Allah is sufficient in provision, and there is no creature on earth but that upon Allah is its provision. 11:6. If He feeds the birds and sustains the fish in the sea, then surely He is sufficient for your risk as well. Worrying about sustenance is eased when you remember this truth. The Quran emphasizes that Allah's sufficiency never fails, even when you fail yourself. Say, O my servants who have transgressed against themselves, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. 39:53. Even in sin, Allah's forgiveness is enough to cleanse and restore you. Allah is enough to heal the brokenhearted. The Quran says, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." Those words soothe pain that no one else can reach. People may listen, but only Allah can heal. His words are medicine for wounds unseen. The Quran also ties Allah's sufficiency to the hereafter. That day, sovereignty will belong to Allah. He will judge between them. 22:56. When everything else ends, Allah remains. The believer rests, knowing that ultimate justice and peace lie with Him alone. When the believer feels abandoned, the Quran restores hope. And your Lord is going to give you, and you will be satisfied. At 93:5. These words to the Prophet ﷺ are a timeless reminder. Allah's care does not end, and His gifts will come in due time. Allah's sufficiency is not just comfort, but power. If Allah should aid you, no one can overcome you. 3:160. This makes the believer fearless in truth, strong in patience, and unshaken in adversity. His help turns weakness into strength. Finally, my brothers and sisters, the Quran's reminders all point to one truth. Allah is enough. People will fail, wealth will vanish, health will weaken, but Allah remains. To rely on Him fully is to never be left empty-handed. May Allah grant us hearts that find sufficiency in Him alone. Ameen. Prophet's example of facing loneliness with faith. The life of the Prophet ﷺ is a journey of faith through loneliness. From his childhood as an orphan, losing both parents early, he grew up without the comfort many take for granted. Yet Allah reminds him, "Did He not find you an orphan and give you shelter?" 93:6. This verse shows that even in abandonment, Allah's care was constant. As a young man, the Prophet ﷺ often withdrew to the cave of Hira. Alone in silence, he reflected on the corruption of society around him. That loneliness became the stage where Allah's greatest gift, revelation, descended. It was in solitude that he met Jibreel, AS, and began his mission. When he first received revelation, fear overwhelmed him. People could not comfort him in that moment, but Allah sent reassurance through Khadijah, RA, and then through His words, "Do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us." This shows that faith transforms loneliness into strength. In Makkah, the Prophet ﷺ was mocked, ridiculed, and abandoned. His own tribe called him a liar and magician. Yet he bore that isolation with patience, because he knew his support did not come from people but from Allah. His faith carried him through rejection. At Taif, loneliness reached a painful peak. He was not only rejected but humiliated, stoned, and driven out. With no human comfort, he turned to Allah in a heartfelt dua. If you are not angry with me, then I do not care. This reliance showed that even in loneliness, faith keeps the believer anchored. The Prophet faced the loneliness of being misunderstood. He came with truth, but many hearts resisted. Still, he persevered because his mission was for Allah's pleasure, not people's approval. This is a lesson for us. Faith allows you to continue even when no one understands. During the boycott in the valley of Abu Talib, the Prophet ﷺ and his followers were cut off from food, support, and society. Hunger and isolation tested their endurance, but he showed patience and trust in Allah. Loneliness became a training ground for resilience. The loss of his beloved wife Khadija, R.A., and his uncle Abu Talib marked the year of sorrow. He felt grief deeply, yet even in that pain, he turned to Allah. His tears did not weaken his faith, they purified it, teaching us that reliance on Allah is strongest when the heart feels most alone. The Prophet ﷺ experienced loneliness in migration. Leaving his home, his city and the Kaaba, he walked into uncertainty. Yet he reminded Abu Bakr in the cave, "Do not grieve, Allah is with us." This moment shows that loneliness disappears when Allah's presence is realized. In Medina, the Prophet ﷺ at times stood alone in defending truth, facing enemies within and outside. But he never wavered. His strength was not in numbers, but in the certainty that Allah was sufficient. Loneliness could not shake a heart anchored in Tawakkul. The Prophet ﷺ also taught us that loneliness is not weakness, but opportunity. In his nightly prayers, he stood long in Qiyam, reciting until his feet swelled. In those silent hours, he found healing, peace, and strength, showing us that faith transforms isolation into closeness to Allah. He faced loneliness when companions disagreed or struggled to understand his decisions. Yet he remained patient, trusting that guidance came from Allah, not human approval. His leadership was anchored in faith, not popularity. The Prophet ﷺ endured loneliness when people slandered his honor, mocked his message, and doubted his mission. Instead of retaliating, he placed his trust in Allah. His response of dignity and patience is a lesson that faith protects you from bitterness in isolation. During battles, moments of loneliness tested him. At Badr, facing an army 3 times larger, he raised his hands all night, crying, "O Allah, if this group is destroyed, there will be none left to worship you." That loneliness was answered with angels descending, showing that faith turns weakness into divine victory. At Uhud, when companions fled and he was left nearly alone, injured and bleeding, the Prophet ﷺ still declared, "How can a people succeed who wound their Prophet?" Yet he forgave them, teaching that faith overcomes the sting of betrayal and disappointment. In the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, his companions felt disheartened, but the Prophet ﷺ held firm. His faith allowed him to stand strong in the face of temporary loneliness, knowing Allah's plan was greater than immediate comfort. He experienced loneliness and grief when burying his children. Each loss pierced his heart, yet he never doubted Allah's mercy. His tears flowed, but his lips still said, "The heart grieves, the eyes shed tears, but we do not say except what pleases Allah." Faith turned sorrow into submission. The Prophet ﷺ also knew loneliness in da'wah. Not everyone believed, and some closest to him, like his uncle Abu Talib, died without accepting Islam. That pain was heavy, but he accepted Allah's will, teaching us that faith helps endure heartbreak when people's choices hurt us. His loneliness at times was a mercy in disguise. Allah separated him from worldly attachments so that his heart could rely fully on him. This shows us that sometimes loneliness is not abandonment, but preparation for greatness. The Prophet ﷺ showed that even in loneliness, dua is a companion. His prayers were constant for forgiveness, for guidance, for mercy. He never allowed silence to become emptiness. He filled it with remembrance, making faith the cure for isolation. Loneliness taught him empathy. Because he knew what it felt like to be abandoned, he became a mercy to others. to orphans, widows, and the poor. His faith turned personal pain into compassion for humanity. The Prophet found strength in knowing that Allah never forgets. Indeed, my Lord is near and responsive. 1161. This certainty lit his path in dark moments. His example shows us that when people forget, Allah remembers, and that is enough. Even in victory, he remembered the loneliness of earlier days. When he entered Makkah as a conqueror, he did not boast. Instead, he bowed in gratitude. Faith had carried him from isolation to triumph, teaching that patience in loneliness leads to reward. The Prophet ﷺ taught his companions that loneliness in faith is temporary. Islam began as something strange, and it will return to being strange, so glad tidings to the strangers. This hadith comforts the believer who feels alone for holding on to truth. His loneliness reminds us that being on the right path does not always mean being popular. Truth is often heavy, and the world may resist it. But with faith, standing alone becomes standing with Allah, which is more powerful than standing with crowds. The Prophet found solace in Quran during loneliness. The verses revealed at moments of grief and hardship comforted him. Your Lord has not forsaken you, nor has he detested you. 93:3. These words healed his heart, showing that faith finds comfort in Allah's words. His seclusion in itikaf was an example of choosing loneliness for spiritual gain. For 10 nights he cut off from the world to connect with Allah. That intentional isolation shows us that loneliness can be transformed into worship. Even in his final illness, the Prophet ﷺ experienced moments of loneliness as his strength faded. Yet he continued to pray, to advise, and to remind his ummah of Allah. Faith gave him strength to face death with peace. The Prophet showed that loneliness is not a curse but a test. He faced it repeatedly, but each time it polished his heart, purified his soul, and elevated his rank with Allah. For the believer, loneliness can be a ladder to closeness with Allah. When companions left him, Allah sent angels. When the world rejected him, Allah elevated his mention, and we raised high for you your repute. 94:4. His faith transformed every rejection into divine honor. The Prophet ﷺ teaches us that loneliness is an opportunity for dua that is untainted by distractions. When you are alone, you realize that your voice rises directly to Allah, unfiltered, and He responds. He faced loneliness when preaching to tribes who turned him away, yet he never gave up. His faith in Allah's promise of victory gave him strength to continue, showing us that perseverance in faith outlasts rejection. The Prophet ﷺ also teaches that loneliness can be softened by good company. Even though he felt isolated, he surrounded himself with righteous companions who reminded him of Allah. Faith turns loneliness into community when hearts unite upon truth. The lesson of his life is that loneliness is never permanent. Allah turns sorrow into joy, rejection into honor, and solitude into companionship. His faith transformed trials into triumphs. The Prophet ﷺ's example shows that facing loneliness with faith makes you stronger, more compassionate, and closer to Allah. His story is a reminder that every believer who feels alone today can find strength by following his path of reliance on Allah. Finally, my brothers and sisters, loneliness is a reality of life, but it does not mean you are forgotten. The Prophet ﷺ endured it, transformed it, and rose above it with faith. Follow his example, and you will find that loneliness is not a burden but a bridge to Allah's love, mercy, and eternal companionship, turning rejection into reliance on Allah. Rejection is one of life's most painful experiences, but it often carries within it a hidden gift. When doors close, hearts turn back to Allah, realizing that His door never shuts. Every no from people is a reminder to seek the eternal yes from the one who never abandons his servants. The Quran comforts us. Perhaps you dislike a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. Allah knows while you do not know. 2:216. Rejection is not failure. It is Allah's redirection, steering you toward what your limited vision cannot yet see. The Prophet himself endured painful rejection. The people of Ta'if mocked him, hurt him, and expelled him. Yet instead of despair, he turned to Allah in dua, saying that as long as Allah was not displeased with him, nothing else mattered. This faith turned rejection into reliance. When the Quraysh called him a liar and sorcerer, the Prophet did not let their rejection break his spirit. He held firmly to Allah's promise. Indeed, we are sufficient for you against the mockers. 1595. This reliance teaches us that human words fade, but Allah's protection remains. Rejection by people often clears the path for Allah's greater plan. When the people of Makkah rejected the Prophet ﷺ, Allah opened the doors of Medina where Islam flourished. What seems like loss in the moment is sometimes preparation for a greater victory. Reliance on Allah after rejection brings peace to the heart. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is Allah teaching me? This shift transforms bitterness into wisdom and sorrow into strength. Rejection teaches you to purify your intentions. If your efforts were for people's approval, rejection will crush you. But if they were for Allah, rejection only makes you more steadfast, because you know that your reward lies with Him alone. The Quran reminds us, do not grieve. Indeed, Allah is with us. 940. These words, spoken by the Prophet ﷺ in the cave, show that when people reject you, Allah's companionship is enough to sustain you. His presence outweighs all absence. Reliance after rejection builds resilience. When you realize you survived what you thought would break you, your heart grows stronger. You learn that Allah's strength is greater than any wound inflicted by people's neglect. Rejection is also protection. Sometimes Allah removes you from people or places that would have harmed you. What feels like abandonment is often Allah's way of shielding you. Reliance means trusting that His wisdom is greater than your desire. The Prophet ﷺ was rejected even by some family members. His uncle Abu Lahab opposed him fiercely, but Allah revealed Surah Al-Masad as reassurance. Reliance on Allah carried him through family rejection, showing us that divine support outweighs blood ties. Rejection can feel isolating, but reliance transforms isolation into intimacy with Allah. When you pray at night, pouring your heart to Him, you discover a companionship deeper than any human friendship. Allah's care fills the emptiness left by people. Reliance teaches that rejection is temporary, but Allah's acceptance is eternal. On the day of judgment, when people turn away from each other, Allah's mercy will remain. His acceptance is the only one worth striving for. The Quran says, and whoever relies upon Allah, He is sufficient for him. 65:3. This is not just a reminder, but a guarantee. Every rejection is an opportunity to live this verse, to feel Allah's sufficiency replace human absence. Rejection softens the heart and makes dua more sincere. In pain, the believer cries with humility, and Allah loves the voice of His servant in desperation. Reliance turns rejection into a chance for deeper connection with the divine. The Prophet faced rejection from entire tribes when he sought protection for his mission. Yet he continued with patience, relying on Allah's promise of victory. Today we see His message spread across the world, proof that reliance after rejection brings unimaginable success. When you face rejection, it teaches you that Allah alone controls hearts. No amount of effort can force someone to accept you unless Allah wills it. Reliance means leaving hearts in His hand and focusing on pleasing Him alone. Rejection humbles the soul. It strips away pride and reminds us that we are dependent beings. This humility is beloved to Allah, for He raises those who lower themselves before Him in reliance and trust. Reliance after rejection transforms pain into ibadah. Every tear, every sigh, every dua becomes worship when directed to Allah. In this way, rejection is not wasted. It becomes a source of reward. Rejection tests sincerity. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever seeks the pleasure of Allah, even if it displeases the people, Allah will be pleased with him and will make the people pleased with him. Reliance ensures that you choose Allah over fleeting approval. Rejection can lead to clarity. Sometimes people's departure reveals their true intentions. Reliance on Allah helps you see this not as betrayal, but as purification. Allah removing what was never meant for you. The Prophet ﷺ endured rejection from his own tribe, but never responded with bitterness. His reliance on Allah gave him patience, teaching us that rejection is not an excuse to abandon good character, but an invitation to strengthen it. Reliance after rejection teaches gratitude. You realize that Allah's acceptance is a gift greater than the approval.